Hello YouTube, I'm here to tell you a little bit about myself tonight. Anyway, I'm an atheist. I'm an atheist because there's no proof that there's some supernatural being, upon us. You take all the facts of life as they are. You got kids that are born with cerebral palsy so bad that they're akin to a wheelchair for all of their pitiful life. You got innocent people suffering from cancer with excruciating pain. You got these tornadoes that swept through last year, leveling out Ringgold, Georgia, devastating the lives of thousands. And you have all these other problems of this world. You have volcanoes erupting, destroying towns. You have tsunamis, and you have many more people suffering from a disease that they're not able to walk and are akin to a wheelchair. I mean, take somebody, let's take somebody with cerebral palsy in a wheelchair that sees that he's different, sees all of his other friends out playing and partying, and yet he's akin to a wheelchair, and it's so pitiful, it's so depressing because he sees his friends having fun, if he can even find friends in the first place. He sees all his classmates out walking around, running, having fun, but yet he really has nothing else to do but be depressed about the fact that he can't even walk and is akin to a wheelchair for the rest of his life. I mean, you name all these problems, they tell me it's a part of God's plan. And to me, I'm like, what kind of fucked up plan is that? I don't care what the intention is. There is no excuse for an innocent kid suffering with cerebral palsy in a wheelchair. There is no excuse for these tornadoes that leveled Ringgold, Georgia, that leveled Joplin, Missouri, that devastated the lives of, so many innocent, loving ones. And there is like a no excuse for, people suffering from cancer, innocent people, animal cruelty in this world, animal abuse. There's no excuse for all this shit. A God so powerful that he can keep all this from happening, yet he lets it happen in the first place. That makes no damn sense whatsoever. If there was a God, there wouldn't be kids being akin to a wheelchair with cerebral palsy. There wouldn't be all these other topics I just mentioned. I mean, it only makes sense if you stop and think about it. I mean, nobody has been able to ever prove to me that there's a God. All they'll talk about is, God's quote-unquote plan, which is a fucked up plan. Yeah, it makes no damn sense. And I'll tell you one thing, you couldn't pay me to go into church. I was invited to a wedding not too long ago, and I'm not going. Part of the reason is because I can't stand to be in church. You hear preaching of quote-unquote God in these weddings, a God that doesn't exist, and yet it's such a disgrace for me to have to listen to some supernatural make-believe being that's just a fairy tale. I'll never again for the rest of my life step foot in the church. Last time I stepped foot in a church was June of 2006, and you couldn't pay me $1,000 to step foot in a church. Anyway, my name is Sammy and I'm an atheist, and hope this video knocks some sense into you. Thank you and have a good night.